Welcome back to College Football Addiction. We got Paul Aloise Jr. back with us, Ruben and Ruben Law, and we're going to talk about a specific appeal that was filed by none other than Florida State quarterback Thomas Castellanos, an appeal against the House settlement, House versus NCAA. He specifically objected, Paul, to the CFP's role. Can we just talk about first, though? We're talking about a quarterback that is the face of a major brand in college football. A lot of these appeals come, and not that they're less important, but a lot of these appeals will come from a few women on a volleyball team, a challenging Title IX or something like that. Not that their case is not important at all. I don't want to make that point. But how big is it to have like the face of one of the top 10, 15 programs of all time challenging a major settlement that's come down, in our country?
I think it's huge, right? I think it obviously brings a lot of attention and focus to it. To your point, right? No other athletes' claims or appeals are diminished with us talking about this. But ultimately, we know when a starting quarterback of a historic collegiate program, or if it was an NFL team, right? When you have someone that's the face of a program, the face of a franchise, and especially in such an important role as quarterback, it's only going to draw more attention to it. But on top of that too, when I'm looking to have a quarterback for my team, right, I want a leader. I want someone who's going to step out on the front lines and take those hits for the program, both on the field and off the field. And that's exactly what Thomas Castellanos is doing here. And I give him so much credit for doing so. He's obviously taking a massive step in his career by coming from Boston College to a bigger program at Florida State. Obviously, he had already played against Florida State. And as much as it pains me to say, he destroyed us when we played against them in the past. So I'm happy he's on our team now, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do on the field for Florida State. But I love that he is now the face, or one of the faces, and really championing, taking on that role of not only being the face of Florida State football, but also having a major voice in trying to change college athletics and be on the forefront of that as well.
The appeal specifically, and there's not like a ton of detail on this, but the appeal specifically does deal with the college football playoff and their role in this. And in doing some digging, and you can certainly correct me if I'm wrong just on your thoughts here, but it sounds like, the schools are going to have to rev share with the athletes, and it's the crux of the House settlement is that the schools are making money off the athletes. The athletes now get part of that money. What it seems like with this college football playoff deal is Tommy is saying, hey, the CFP is making money on us too right now. We haven't agreed to give up our, licensing or, our image, our name for them to make money off of it. Shouldn't the CFP be paying us too? Which again, layperson here, not even an FSU homer. You can ignore the football over my shoulder. But like just a layperson I would look at that and say, yeah, the CFP is making money off of these players, and maybe they should have to pay them something. Just thoughts around the specific appeal. All right, big news. I'll get right back to the video, but my FSU podcast, Double Fries No Slaw, is partnering with T1RX, a supplement and health company, to give away 2 free tickets to the Alabama FSU game on August 30th. Now, no purchase is necessary to win, and all you have to do is enter your name, phone number, and email so that we can reach out to the winner. I've put a link down in the description. It's below as well. www.t1rx.com/pages/FSU Bama Tix, TIX. With it, you'll also get 2 free passes into the Double Fries No Slaw tailgate where you can eat and drink until your heart is content, all while in the shade during that August Florida heat. Go enter to win today. No purchase necessary, and we will see you out of the tailgate.
Yeah, honestly, I love whether it was, him, his legal team, him and his legal team combined. I love the fact that they stepped forward to really challenge the House settlement and talk about, wait a second, we can't just finalize this ongoing litigation without considering this other party, right? And that's fundamental in all litigation, right? If there's a car accident and you believe an individual is at fault, but maybe also that city's at fault because the sewer was damaged. Maybe a street light is out, right? If I'm going to bring litigation about that car accident, I have to bring both the city and the at-fault driver into that litigation so it can all be resolved at once. athletes, right? So here, I think that they are doing an amazing job of saying, hey, wait a second, what about the CFP? What about the college football playoff? What about these other entities that are potentially involved and maybe should be listed as defendants in some of the ongoing litigation? And if they were supposed to be, and now there's a settlement. Is that settlement going to preclude individuals from going after them afterwards? Because if that's the case, then maybe the House settlement shouldn't be approved, right? Maybe these other parties and these other entities, these other defendants need to be brought in and be considered as part of the settlement. So overall, from not just Tommy Castellanos' own position, but from a collegiate athlete's position in general, I think it's an amazing approach to this. And I love the creativity and really just having the gusto to move forward right before the season starts and step into that limelight of saying, hey, yeah, I'm focused on FSU having a great season, but I'm also focused on not just the short term, but the long-term benefits I can help collegiate athletes, reap.
Yeah. There has been, I've seen some FSU fans say this, and I think your perspective on this is unique, and I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are on it, because as a former athlete who played at FSU and an attorney who understands how some of these things work, I've seen some FSU fans say, like, man, listen, we're coming off a 2-10 season. We need to be all in on making the product on the field better. Is this a distraction? And so we talked in our last segment about, just the time management of being a student athlete and how hard and rigorous that is. And you did that at a time where the portal wasn't really a thing. The NIL wasn't really a thing. Lawsuits against the league were much less, or against the entity of the NCAA or the House of or anything like that were, if any, much more reduced. Is this a distraction for him, or is this something that his name is on, but really it's his attorneys handling things? It's not really, is the idea of it being a distraction for Florida State fans specifically, or really for any fan of any team that maybe one of their players is attached to this? Is their role in it much less? Is it much more the attorneys handling things from here on out?
It definitely is. I think from a layperson perspective, it's not as big of a distraction as they might think it is. Now, and any lawyer that listens to this, or anyone who's went to law school, we always joke, a lot of the professors' answers are always going to be, it depends, right? So a client's involvement in litigation is always going to be dependent upon what the claims are, what discovery is requested from them, right? But it's definitely, and I think the example I would give, the lawyers are driving the boat. They might have to come by and pick up Tommy every once in a while and ask him to help out with some things, answer and help provide anything on discovery. But ultimately, this is mainly going to be driven by the lawyers. Especially when you're appealing, right? I'm not an appellate attorney, right? So the appeal world is different as far as in litigation, right? When you're sharing discovery back and forth, and you need these individuals to turn over documents. And so sometimes it is incumbent upon the client to do a lot of work. But here, from an appellate standpoint, I think he is more of the face and the name. And listen, at the end of the day, he's the one that risks public scrutiny, right? Maybe more so than the lawyers. But the lawyers are definitely going to be the ones, in my opinion, who are really taking on the brunt of this work.
I'm going to ask you to take your attorney hat off for just a second, and we'll talk just FSU on this side. Certainly, Tommy, no stranger to headlines this offseason. Came out and fired some shots at Alabama, talked about how, didn't know if they would be able to stop him. They didn't have Saban there to save them. And listen, my thoughts on this changed as the week went on. I actually spoke with our buddy Joe about this about a week after it happened. But you played on a Florida State team that, the question was never, are they going to win? It's how much are they going to win by in every game that you played. So it is a little bit different. My thoughts on this have changed a lot. And, if I can be honest, right, I would say that there are some, or were some players in that FSU locker room that looked at that opening game as, man, how in the heck are we going to win this? Do you have thoughts on maybe Tommy's comments about Bama, maybe rallying the team a little bit? And I don't know if I believe in the bulletin board much. I don't know if I really think that Alabama's going to try harder now because he fired off some comments. But I do think that it could certainly help FSU. So just, this has nothing to do with the suit or the appeal or anything, but just thoughts on that.
Definitely. I actually had the opportunity spent some time with Tommy last week. His as you just mentioned, Joe Hernandez of Just Win Management Group. He represents him from an NIL perspective, and I was called upon to do some legal work that they needed some help with. And so it was great to spend some time with Tommy and get to know him as a man. And we actually talked about this, and I told him I loved it, right? Absolutely loved it. And Tommy is such a humble, God-fearing young man that the first thing he said was, guys, if you actually go look at the interview, I didn't say it in the manner in which it was being reported, right? But he stands by. I do feel that way. I want the team to rally on this. I want to ignite this program. And that's what I loved hearing, right? Because when I saw that, I was like, that's the swagger that we need to have back, right? We need to have somebody in that locker room, and who better than the starting quarterback to be the voice in the locker room, to be the one saying, hey, I don't care what happened last season. This is a new team. We got a new quarterback under center, and this is our goal. And listen, some people viewed it as a little brash. I personally love that, right? I mean, if you're starting quarterback for a major program, you better think that you can beat every team you're playing against. You better think you're the best team in the entire country. You better think that you're the best quarterback in the country. Because at the end of the day, that's what me as a former athlete is looking for out of my quarterback, right? That's what Jameis was.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to play with EJ Manuel as well. EJ Manuel, a little bit more of a quiet lead by example leader, but he carried himself and demanded respect. And he's one of two quarterbacks, I think, him and Pat White, to win 4 bowl games while in college. You have to have confidence. You have to be a leader. You have to get the team to rally behind you to do that. And we've seen Jameis do that not only while he was at Florida State, but at every stop in the NFL. And so to me, Tommy is falling down that line of great FSU quarterbacks, right, who has had the opportunity to lead the program. And, hey, he's tasked with something that some of these other quarterbacks haven't been in the past, which is revitalizing and re-energizing a program. And I think this is the perfect way to ignite that.
Yeah, there's such a negative connotation around this word. And so I'm going to say it, but then, I'm not trying to be negative towards him because I'm all for it too. But I heard a long time ago, I heard somebody say, I would rather be a hypocrite than a coward any day. I would rather stick my neck out there and be proven wrong, fall flat on my face, right? Bama beats us by 30, whatever. If that happens, great. But I'd rather be a hypocrite and be proven completely wrong than to be a coward, right? And so I'm not calling Tommy a hypocrite. But that thought process has always stuck with me, right? Anytime I've gone to try something or do something or try and build something, I've always said, you know what? I'm going to go do this. I'm going to tell people that I'm going to do it. And if I fall flat on my face, at least I tried, right? At least I wasn't a coward about it. Now, obviously, I want Tommy to be successful, and I want him to go for 400 yards on the ground and in the air. But I agree, man. Stick your neck out there. Go do it. Go win. And, I do think that it does say something about his personality. He's not just doing this against – it's the same thing with this appeal, right? It is – listen, I'm taking on the NCAA here and the House settlement, and I'm appealing this through the court system, and I'm sticking my neck out there to go out and do what I think is right. And dude, if you fail at both of them, then at least you tried. If you go 1-1, great. If you go 2-0, even better. But I do think that it does speak to his personality. It matches up, the appeal process as well as, the comments on Bama. So no, I enjoy it a lot and I've got no issues. Paul, we're running short on time. Tell us a little bit about Ruben and Ruben, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Absolutely. So Ruben and Ruben is located here in Stuart, Florida. We practice a wide variety of areas of law. I myself focus on, criminal defense, civil rights violations, right? When a police officer falsely arrests someone, wrongfully kills someone, or, just uses police brutality, right? Excessive force. We handle claims such as car accidents, slip and falls, catastrophic personal injury. And ultimately, what we love talking about here, sports entertainment law. I really use my background as a former NFLPA certified contract advisor, as someone who used to negotiate NIL deals, as an agent, and obviously as a former player, to really help both athletes and agents navigate this ever-evolving world of NIL, and then also help these athletes when they're retired, right? I've had the opportunity to work with Hall of Fame athletes and navigate their post-playing career. So those are things that I truly cherish and love working. But Here at Ruben and Ruben, we like to be the pillars in the community to help all individuals. And if we can't help you, we have a trusted network of other attorneys that we can refer clients to. So please, if you've been injured, if you've been wronged, if you think you have a claim, reach out to us. You can contact us at 772-283-2004, or you can find me on Instagram at Paul_Aloise, spelled ALOISE. Reach out to me there. We'd love to talk with you. We'd love to see how we can help directly, or if there's a law firm or another attorney that we can refer you to help you with your needs.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you for joining us. I don't know exactly what day this will come out, but as of the recording, we're 50 days from kickoff. And so I will see you up in Tallahassee for that Alabama FSU game, and I look forward to it, man. But thank you again so much for joining us here.
Absolutely. As always, man, thank you for having me on. Continue doing the great coverage of college football that you do. And I look forward to hopping on another one down the line.
Awesome, man. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.